I like, click, subscribe, do all that. You know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This one's called Prospect. A father and daughter travel to an alien moon in search of a valuable gem, but are forced to alter their plans when a nefarious outlaw gets involved. So it's one of those sci-fi thriller movies that came out back in 2018. It's an hour and a half long. Spoiler alert, let's get it. So we start with this girl named C just chilling in outer space. They're on their way passing by this green moon, in which the pod is connected to this big space station. C is there along with her father, Damon. They have conversations about her mom. I'm guessing she passed away. She mostly chills out, listens to music, and does stuff on the space station. They talked about how she originally came from Leo or Chimera. I'm not sure if these are actual places or different planets. After they get some sleep, the next day they detach themselves from the space station, and they're getting ready to land on this green moon, which they safely land, but the pod is damaged badly. So here they are, on the moon. Okay, now their main goal is to cut open these alien type of creatures from these little holes in the ground that they gotta pour water into. And you have to do it a certain way, that way their hand don't get eaten. Some skilled, trained professional shit that Damon is very highly skilled at. Then once they grab the thing, they gotta cut it off in the middle. Then they gotta carve around it in a very specific way. So it reveals the red meat, and he has to be very precise. And it reveals some type of solid crystal, which they can go to traders for and trade it for money and get to whatever they need to do. Whether they need to fly to different planets or get food, whatever the case may be. Now the reason it has to be very precise is because if you cut it the wrong way, the yellow stuff inside of the crystal turns into acid, and it will burn the entire crystal and everything up. So after getting a couple of them while on their excavations, Damon runs into a scavenger named Urza. Damon told his daughter C to stay back in case anything happened. They basically was trying to take the crystals for their own, but Damon tried to negotiate with him. Damon told Urza he was able to find this Queen Land, which according to legend has plenty amount of crystals. He tells him his camp is there right now waiting on him. So they're ready to go along with it. Meanwhile, Damon's whispering to C like he knows she still got the thrower gun, and when he gives her the signal, be ready. So once they get to a certain area, she pops up ready to go. Throughout the conversation, Damon found out that Urza has a couple of crystals himself, so he's ready to take his stash. But as he's checking through, Urza's partner gets bold. They start to shooting, his partner dies, and Damon dies as well. He points the gun at C, she runs off, and finishes off Damon for good. C's in a state of shock like, what the fuck do I do now? So she goes back to her ship to try to see if she can get it working, and it malfunctions again. Then all of a sudden she hears the door open, and Urza comes through the door, she shoots him straight in the shoulder. So Urza needs help because he's fucked up, and C's like, bitch, you killed my father. But both of them are stuck at this point, and reluctantly, she also needs his help. So they're supposed to be looking for his ship. One reason they go along with this is because they both need a ship, and he needs her oxygen, so he's not going to do nothing stupid. She actually did give him a first aid kit for his arm, but his infection's getting worse. But then somebody spots them at a distance, but instead the person wants them to follow. So they follow the mysterious person to his cabin or hut. They made him put down their weapons before entering. But she ain't trusting niggas, so she hid her weapon in the grass and trees and stuff, and now they allowed access in. So at this point, he really needs a first aid kit and a way home. But this guy's willing to give Urza a bunch of damn crystals. So there's gotta be a miss here. Why is this guy being so damn generous? Because he wants to trade the crystals for C. See, the last female of their group just passed away. It's nothing but men left. And they need C to procreate so they can keep their species going. Basically, they need her to make babies. But C dipped off, was like, fuck that shit. She escaped and now she's by herself again. So she's wandering around this crazy ass vast Neverland. She ends up coming across a tent. Nobody happened to be in the tent at first until Urza popped up. So there was no deal made. So how the hell was he able to get away from all those stormtroopers? They don't really explain how he got out, but he ends up feeding C and tells her that he needs her to cut his arm off. Because he doesn't have the equipment to treat it. And if the infection spreads, he could end up dying anyway. And she's like, well, why you need me to cut it off? It's like, nigga, I can't cut my hand off with one hand. So after a while, she decides to do it. Only because he fed her. Then he asks her, how are you so calm doing this? She says she's been cutting up stuff in the academy since she was like 12. So at this point, it's like second nature to her. So at this point now, they gotta make it to the area where Damon was supposed to go to. Then at this point, she starts opening up to him. Talking about this one book she always reads. She actually tells him her name. I mean, she still doesn't really trust him because of the fact that he killed her dad. But it's to a point where it's not much he can do. And he has really nothing to gain by killing her. So she felt more comfortable opening up to him. That and the fact that she's gonna need him to hijack a ship. Now it's nighttime, they're gonna make it to the compound. And everybody's basically waiting on him. So at this point, Urza basically pretends that he's Damon, so they won't get suspicious. Then they walk past this guy in a container. Apparently he was shipped to the coordinator like that. Why? We have no idea. But basically, he can dispose of him any way he likes. Sometimes they talk in English, sometimes they talk in this alien language, which Urza understands some of it. But we as the audience don't know what the fuck they saying. So anyway, they're supposed to be digging up crystals for these people, but he's trying to cut a deal with them in order to get a ride home on his ship. Knowing in the back of their mind, they gotta find some way to hijack that shit. So afterwards, they put him to the spot and they start digging for the crystals. They had dug out like 3 of these joints, but unsuccessfully messed up because they kept turning them joints into acid. One of the guards is getting impatient, like, you sure you know what you're doing? After the third time, even C fucked up on it. The guard got closer and Urza ended up stuffing one of the guard's face into the thing, having to eat his body. So he's like, we gotta come up with a game plan because you know the rest of them about to come over here soon. But when it doesn't work, they pick up the guy's gun and they start shooting and hauling ass. So while they being hunted, he tells C to disassemble the cord. He'll distract her while she comes around and makes the kill. They did kill her, but he got injured in the process. Then he tells her to make a break for it because he don't think he's gonna make it. She goes to the spot so she can kill the last guy, but she doesn't see anybody, so instead she gets a whole bunch of equipment that's lying on the ground. Then this one dude's trying to shoot at her, but if you look to the right, you notice the cage is empty. This motherfucker came out the cage and hammered the shit out of this dude. He was dead on impact. So then she comes back to Urza and gives him a healing kit and stuff like that, and he's carrying him off to the ship. They see the crazy looking dude that was stuck in the box, but he just stands there and lets them go about their business. They get inside the ship, head back towards the space station. It's just ironic that these two are together. But watching this left so many things undiscovered. Why were there just two people in a space station? Why were they jumping from multiple planets? Why were they recovering these crystals as currency? What happened to the planet Earth? How did they know there were other people on certain planets? Or moons? What happened in their life for Damon and C to become drifters? How many other people there are left that traveled to multiple moons? Or they could just leave it to our imaginations. Prospect on Netflix. Check it out. Like, click, subscribe, do all that. You know how this look easy, mister. Big, you got that slogan.